Good morning, everybody. This is Amy Hayek with Animal Chiropractic Education Source, and we're out on this beautiful morning. You can see the sun is just peeking up over the edge, waiting to come up. It's really nice out. The weather's great. So, when I was in second grade, I have to answer this question. We're going to head back to the house. When I was in second grade, I sprained my elbow. Fell out of a swing, sprained my elbow. Can't use my arm. My parents took me to the doctor. They put my arm in a sling, and it happened to be my right elbow. Second grade, I'm learning how to write. Right? So here's the deal. Because I had, that was in that part of your career when you're learning how to cursive write and all that kind of stuff. I had to learn how to write with my left hand. I got this, I said. So, learned how to write a little with my left hand for a couple of weeks while it healed. And now I can write with both hands. Left, not quite as well as right, but close enough. Not such a bad story, except that had my parents been chiropractic patients at the time, they may have recognized that what we probably should have done was gone to the chiropractor. So we should have gone to the chiropractor and had him adjust it. Why? Because that's exactly what a subluxation is. A subluxation is basically a sprain. It's a sprain in your neck, it's a sprain in your back, it's a sprain in your elbow, it's a sprain in your ankle. It's a joint that's not moving the way it's supposed to. And when joints don't move in the organization, like my finger, in the organization that they are supposed to, because the muscles across them aren't moving like they should. You got to have the muscle on one side of your joint has to be equal and opposite to the muscle on the other side of the joint for the joint to move like it's supposed to move. And when that doesn't happen, you end up with swelling in the joint, things we call inflammation, cartilage breaks down because it doesn't get good nutrition, because a joint needs motion in order to be nourished. And when those things don't happen, we get a joint that doesn't work. And over time, if it's like that for a long time and we're trying to use it, the joint will set up a system where it tries to protect itself. And so that's what we call arthritis. And so we get that inflammation in the joint. Any word that ends with itis, I-T-I-S, means inflammation of whatever the word is before it. So we end up with joint arthritis, which can be painful and make the joint work less. And the joint only works less because now the muscles that make the joint move, the muscles in my finger, now don't move like they should. They're weak and they're obstructed by mechanical or, mineral things that are in the way. And so when that happens, then we end up with arthritis, problems in the joint. So, my elbow sprain when I was in second grade could have been resolved much more quickly with a chiropractic adjustment. Put it back where it belongs. Let those muscles heal. Here's the other part of that I know now. And, experience is how we learn. Experience is sometimes the cause of, is sometimes caused by injuries, accidents, things we do wrong, right? Mistakes. So what I have learned now is that if we don't make that joint move like it's supposed to, there are receptors in the joints, so signals from the joint itself to the brain that, I think I have to save somebody's life here in a minute, that let the brain know that it's moving or not. And if the receptors aren't firing equally and evenly, or if the joint itself is swollen, then those receptors are going to send a signal to the brain that tell it, hey, something's wrong, and we need to fix it. And when that happens, then we end up with problems in the brain because we feel all of our pain in the brain. And so that pain that we feel in the brain actually changes our brain, changes how we move in life, changes how we perceive the world around us. And when we have those issues, then things are not good, because then we have to relearn things. We have to relearn, like I did, how to write. So my brain now has a slightly bigger part on the left than on the right for writing than it should, than it normally would, because I'm not all right-handed. I'm a little lefty and a little righty. That's what your brain does. There's little segments in your brain that this part's for the left hand, this part's for the right hand, this part's for the thumb, this part's for the finger, and different parts of your brain, real estate in that brain, are taken up by different body parts. So things that have more sensory input are bigger, and things that have less sensory input are smaller. So when this happens, we all learn differently. We become different people. We become different animals, all because of how our brain learns these things. And when that's the case, then it changes how we behave. So if we take that back to our animals, and we look at our animals and we say, they've got a sprained leg, or they've got let's say they have a subluxation, so they've got a sprain in their neck. They're going to move differently. And for animals, it's a big deal if they have a sprain in their neck, because their head hangs. Animals, so hold your hand out, let it dangle at the end of your arm, and you feel how gravity is functioning on that hand. That's how their head is all day long. So if there's a sprain in the joints in their neck, then how that head hangs off the end of their arm is going to affect how they move forward, how they move sideways, how they move up or down, whether they can move forward, and sometimes whether they can eat or drink, which can be pretty crucial for some animals, because if they can't eat or drink, they get dehydrated, their organ systems start to shut down, things are bad. So it's just a sprain in those joints, in the joints of the spine of the neck, which means that there's a muscle on one side or the other that's not moving equal and opposite of the opposing muscle that cause these subluxations. So as chiropractors, as animal chiropractors, what we do is we realign that. We realign the joint so now the muscles can move more like they should. We help that, in my case, we would help the elbow to sit where it's supposed to. And when we help those joints to sit where they're supposed to, then the joint fluid can flow back out of the joint. The swelling in the joint can go down. The joint can move like it's supposed to. Good morning, Dr. Ormston. The joint can move like it's supposed to, and all is well. And then the brain gets the signal it's supposed to, and the brain changes, and the brain can be more responsive, more normal, because it's not clouded by the pain of the arthritis. Guys, thanks for joining me on my little walk. Good morning, Tarek Hully. Good to see you. Thanks for joining me on my little walk this morning and our talk about my sprained elbow and how it changed my life. It changed my brain when I was in second grade in a big way. So now I am slightly ambidextrous, but it also changed my thought process about chiropractic, because now that I understand chiropractic, I can see where how that whole system worked. And I can understand that in my animal patients, when I adjust them, it makes a world of difference to them, because it changes not just their finger, which in most animals is, not like ours, but it changes their whole brain, changes their whole system, changes how they behave, changes their whole life. So sometimes we make animals that are aggressive happy and friendly, because we've gotten rid of that swelling, pain, arthritis in their spine, which affects their brain in a huge way. Thanks for joining me today. For more information like this, or if you're looking for an animal chiropractor in your area, visit us at Animal Chiropractic Education Source. Oh, sorry, there's no source on the website. animalchiropracticeducation.com. You can sign up for classes if you're interested. There's a whole bunch of them that anybody can take. But if you've got doctors in your area who might be interested in animal chiropractic, send them to animalchiropracticeducation.com. If you want an animal chiropractor